Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Faith Builder. Happy Wednesday morning. All week we are looking at this issue of optimism. How do we build a foundation of optimism? How do we wrestle with our soul to really get a hold of knowing that our soul is optimistic rather than pessimistic? Because, boy, we got so many things coming at us right today, especially that really have a way of, if we don't know how to deal with them, they can really move our soul at a deep level towards a pessimistic outlook upon things and upon the future, especially and upon life. And so, boy, we're looking at this week, been looking at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 12, and just breaking some things down from there. This morning, I just want to throw a question out to us to think about is how often do you think about the importance and the blessing of liberty? How often do you think about liberty and the cost that comes with it? It doesn't come free. It doesn't come organically. Liberty is something that has to be fought for. That's in the physical realm as well as in the spiritual realm. And any discussion of liberty, the idea of freedom, and obviously even in our own Constitution, it says it's an endowed to us from God. It's something from above. It's not something that, again, that we can naturally lay hold of. It doesn't come naturally in the world, in chaos and dictatorship. These are the kind of things, and forces are always against liberty, always against freedom. And that's a result of sin in this world and the consequence of sin and evil right in this world. Our nation has been blessed for 400 plus years with an amazing blessing of liberty. And boy, I think right now we could all say that liberty is under fire in many different arenas. But I want us just to take this liberty stream and look at its roots, because ultimately any discussion about liberty, if it doesn't have a foundation back to the gospel itself, then liberty is just in man's hands. It's very temporal and it doesn't have much depth. And so the thing we need to understand when it comes to optimism, we need to understand the importance of liberty. And it must begin with our soul. It is impossible to really maintain a hopeful, faithful soul if we don't have a right understanding of liberty and the liberty that comes ultimately from the gospel. And this is the good news of what Jesus has done. He's come to set the captives free. He's come to set us free from the power of sin and the power of death. The two biggest strongholds in our life that hold us down and bring corruption to this world and keep us from a preferable future and eternity with God. Jesus has conquered those things. He set us free from those things. He's brought liberty into this world. It's that principle of the gospel that is the underlying principle of the liberty and of how our Constitution and how our nation was set up. And so any discussion of those liberties and any action we take in government and in being good citizens in life, it really, as a follower of Jesus, we need to have the foundation of the gospel, that unless the soul is liberated, is that all of our work on the outside is really futile and it's short-sighted at best. So it's important for us to think about this idea of liberty. Let me read this quote. This is from Sir Frederick Catherwood, from the Christian Citizen, written long, long ago. But he says this: the Christian knows the meaning of patience and endurance, but he also knows the meaning of action. This is the right formula for Christian politics, just because it is the right formula for every single part of the Christian life. In other words, he's saying that the importance, our optimism should never overreach our patience and our endurance. This has happened throughout history. It happened in the Great Enlightenment movement. We thought, oh, here's the New Agers and the New Enlightenment. Well, that failed. And this also could happen within the Christian community if we have a wrong view of the history of the future, thinking that we are somehow going to Christianize the world, that's going to get better and better. And then Jesus returns, that's going to also lead into a disillusionment. And so, in other words, this way of doing politics and living as good citizens, as Christians, should be this wonderful balance of patience and endurance coupled with taking action. And that action needs to be based by faith and optimism, realizing that the Christian life itself is this incredible blend of walking by faith, not by sight, understanding the importance of patience and endurance, but not being idle, but taking action together for God's kingdom and for his goodness. Hope that encourages you this morning. Hope you have a great rest of the week.